Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is the 13th of August 2021 and this is the Flight Sim News. Yes, I know it's been a couple weeks since I've done an update. I was on vacation and then I've been kind of under the weather the past few days on top of that, but here we are. So first up is the latest from the guys at Eagle Dynamics, and it looks like the pre-order is up for the Mosquito. It looks like you're able to get it for $41.99 right now, which is a percentage off of the $60 price tag that it's going to be when it comes out. That's kind of surprising and kind of good, because I expected, it to be like $80 like some of the other modules. So it's really nice to see that it's only going to be a $60 module, and then you can get it for what, $42 if you pre-order it. Not bad at all. And the early access features are listed here of what it's going to contain at early access launch, which is a high-quality external 3D model, 6 degree of freedom, fully clickable cockpit with latest visual effects, flight dynamics based off official reports, our own CFD research and pilot feedback, fuel system and optional external tanks, full electrical system, full hydraulic and pneumatic system, propeller feathering, radio units, support of the new internal structure-based damage model, and then the armaments will be 4 British Browning 303 machine guns, 4 Hispano Mark II 20mm guns, and 250-pound and 500-pound bombs in the bomb bay and under each wing. Sounds like it's going to be ready for action here pretty soon. Next up, they also released a video for the pre-order. I'm not going to play it. It is about 2 minutes long, and I will say it is pretty impressive, though. I've watched it, and it's very cool stuff. So I will definitely throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. And in Razbam news, it looks like we get an image of the F-15E Strike Eagle. And that's it. So I guess it's coming along rather nicely. It's a nice image, but I'd love to hear more about what's going on. Like, give us a ballpark, guys. Let us know at least if it's going to come out this year, which I highly doubt. But nonetheless, they've given us a teaser again in the way that they do, which is, here's a screenshot with really nothing but a couple words. So I will throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. Alright, the guys at Miltech 5 are still at it. Looks like they made a post yesterday that said, back from holiday and work goes on. Weapon carriers, texture work in progress. And then there's a variety of screenshots here to cycle through. I'm not going to do that, but I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can cycle through them yourself. Alright, in other Eagle Dynamics DCS World news, the latest open beta was updated on Wednesday, and it looks like there's a variety of fixes and improvements. Some of the ones limited to just DCS World in general is they fixed the AIM-7F not tracking on target. The AIM-120 desync and multiplayer with 120s loft on targets that have ECM on has been fixed. MLRS rockets missing in flight have been fixed, open beta only, and the list goes on. I'm not going to read them all or we'd be here all day. I did note that the F-15AB statics fixed wing folding animation. VR hangar SU-27 model is missing parts. That has been fixed. VR, trees and some objects render in the left eye before the right, and it creates a shimmering effect. That has been fixed as well. And then scrolling on down the line, looks like a couple little fixes for the MiG-21, a couple for the Kristen Eagle, and then a pretty big list of fixes and improvements from Razbam for the AV-8B and the Mirage 2000. Nice long list there. And then, once again, a nice lengthy list from the guys at Heatblur, which is fantastic. They've added new F-14A Quick Start missions, 3 of which are in Normandy, 10 missions for the Nevada NTTR map, and then 1 channel free flight mission. That's pretty cool. I swear to God, I think these guys are the best developers. They really are. Nobody takes the time to make as many missions for DCS to include with their products as these guys do. And they continue to do it, you know. Fixed Mariana's Quick Start mission spawn locations, updated the Fear to Bones mission by Reflected, added default trim bindings for keyboard, added threshold value for flaps axis, so flaps on-off are now binary, and the list goes on. Jester will now call the MiG-28 call out properly. Fixed autopilot altitude hold fluctuation after several re-engagements, etc., etc. And it goes on down the line. And then there's a couple of fixes for the Viggen. It looks like Deca Ironworks added a couple of fixes and improvements for the JF-17. Tiny bugs in the JF-17 collision model has been fixed. Radar contact in velocity mode showed exact position in HSD, temporarily fixed, and a few others. Now, it looks like the Aviojet had a couple of fixes and improvements. And then, as expected, looks like the Hornet and the Viper's getting a lot of love this time out. And I think they promised to have the Hornet done before the end of the year, and at this rate, that might very well just happen. I'm not going to read that list. The only things that stand out to me is Task Force Challenger Campaign Mission 2 is a CAS mission, but the weather settings make it impossible as cloud base is very low. That has been fixed. Static helicopter placed in the water in Marianas Islands, and the Quick Start mission has been fixed. Steering dot in the HUD seems to stick in place sometimes. On the radar page it looks correct, but on HUD it barely moves. That has been fixed, and so on. Down to the Viper. It actually has a slightly longer list of fixes and improvements. Very cool. And the one I'm most excited about, next to the F-14, is the Mi-24. Looks like they're really cranking out some work on that, which is really awesome to see. Improvement, pilot operator, air-to-ground missile aiming sight periscope view was fully reworked with new camera and scale textures, including changes for VR. They improved the force feedback axis inversion settings were changed to correspond with other modules. Improvement, more switch positions added for mapping and controls for different functions. Windshield wiper not moving on the outside view, and inability to take off from ship in the mission editor. I didn't try that, but that would have sucked. Nice to see they fixed that. Fixed no keybind for the USR power switch, and again, it's a really long list. I'm not going to read the whole thing off, but it's a very welcome list of fixes and improvements. Supercarrier. The AI Su-33 doesn't spool engines to full power before holdback release has been fixed. F-14s for clients don't want to spawn together at 5 and 6 positions. That has been fixed. Disabling FLOL's overlay doesn't work when restarting the game. That has been fixed. And then a couple of little bitty improvements for the A-10C2, Black Shark 2, MiG-15, Flaming Cliffs 3. And then Marianas campaign is getting some love, which is really cool. The seabed in the Upper Harbor is improved. Unique buildings of Summer Towers and Beach Garden Hotel are added. Rota Airport texture looks different from area around. That has been fixed. Trans World Radio Guam LOD issues fixed. Many fixes with bad-looking terrains close to roads. I noticed that first time out, actually, so that'll be a welcome improvement. Tree at the end of Orot Field is removed. Some sport fields are not flat. That's been fixed. Improvements to underwater textures close to the shore, and then new quick start missions for the UH-1 has been added. And then campaigns, it looks like they've done a little bit of cleanup on some of the campaigns, and these are the kind of things you expect as they move on with improving their code. Almost always these guys are always having to fix something. Every time they come out with a new update for DCS, it usually breaks something in these guys' campaigns. I kind of feel bad for these guys because you continually have to keep updating your campaigns around DCS. It's not as simple as they make it and then they can just walk away. As DCS improves and evolves, well, it tends to break things. So it looks like a lot of work from Greg at Reflected this time out with his Focke-Wulf 190, BF-109 campaign, his P-51 campaign, P-47 campaign, F-86. It looks like it's a big bunch of improvements from Reflected. Aside from Badger 633, which is the Persian Lion campaign for the F-18. And then Couple little fixes and improvements for some of the other campaigns, like the MiG-29 Over the Hump, Museum Relic, and UH-1H Worlds Apart. And that about does it for the open beta update. It looks like a rather lengthy one, so if you haven't updated your DCS yet, now might be a good time. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. And yet in more awesome DCS news is Chuck Owl has produced a DCS Mi-24P HIND guide. So this is fantastic news, because now I can actually learn more of the systems of the HIND, because the manual that usually comes with it is, never as good as the Chuck's guide, right? So fantastic work once again from Chuck. Thanks a lot, Chuck. I will throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can get in there and start learning the HIND a lot more in depth. All right, in IL-2 news, a couple days ago, they started their Summer Sale 2.0. Looks like Tank Crew is 50% off. Most of the Great Battles campaigns are 85 to 75% off. Battle of Bodenplatte is only 66% off, but that's still a fantastic deal. And if you ask me, I still think that is my favorite one out of all the campaigns right now. Flying Circus Volume 1 is 66% off. I almost want to say that is the most that has ever been off. And then if you look at the list here of all of the planes that they have, the collector's planes, if you saved a few bucks and got, Battle of Stalingrad non-collector's edition that didn't come with the 2 planes, you can buy the planes right here for 85 to 75% off, most of them. And even the newest ones, it looks like they're down to 66% off, with the only case being the Hurricane is 50% off. Still, fantastic deal and well worth the price of admission. I will throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. And then lastly, here's a bunch of images of the Eurofighter that they had posted last week, which look absolutely amazing. I think the best news that has come about over the past month or so was the news that Heat Blur is going to be, I don't know if they're taking it over, but I know they're working with the guys at True Grit to help develop the Eurofighter. And as you can see, the images are fantastic. I still have to ask the question, though, once this comes out, why would anybody else fly anything else, right? I mean, this is the most modern fighter that we're going to have in DCS, with some of the crazy capabilities, especially with that, what is it, the Meteor missile? Like with that, plus the capabilities of what this thing can do. Like, I remember listening to an episode of the Fighter Pilot podcast where a Typhoon driver was talking about how how crazy maneuverable that the Eurofighter really is. And he was almost, I want to say he said that it could even beat like an F-22. So very cool stuff, and dying to see this happen, and especially now knowing it's in Heat Blur's hands. Like, wow, guys, right? Like, it couldn't be in better hands, that's for damn sure. So, as usual, I will throw a link to this in the video description so you can check out all of these images for yourself. And that is it for the Flight Sim news, guys. And again, I apologize for the lack of updates, but I had a pretty fun vacation. I've been spending time with my grandson, having fun with my girlfriend, and man, I just got this flu bug or something all of a sudden. I went and had a test, and it's not the virus, which is good. But man, I've never felt so shitty in my life in the summertime, man. I don't know what it is, but they say it's like a bad upper respiratory infection or something. It's definitely kicking my ass, though, and definitely made going back to work after vacation a little bit tough, because it popped up literally like 2 days after I go back to work after vacation. So I kind of stayed home today and played hooky, and here I am making this video that is long overdue. And again, I apologize, but you know what? Life happens, and I do enjoy my flight sims, but I've actually been enjoying a lot of time, outside of the cockpit lately, which is always a good thing, and I highly suggest it for everybody. But again, as always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free to hit that like button, and until next time, guys.